Good morning. Hey, this is your host, Jeff Ski Kinsey from Fast Charge Energy, and this is all about you. By the way, we are powered by Rhino Island Media. That's right. That's our marketing group, media group, the outreach. By the way, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. As I sit here in our Jeep Wrangler rocking and rolling to the winds, we have a wind advisory in this part of Northeast Ohio. They announced it last night, even through tomorrow, so like a 3-day wind advisory, which is very, very rare. Thank goodness. Someone the other day pointed out that, and he's younger than I am, he pointed out he was on the back half of his life, like on the back 9, just kind of trying to coast in. It's like, you got to be kidding, man. There is so much that needs done. I work for a gentleman. He was in his 80s, okay? Amazing individual, dynamic, smart businessman, extremely smart. But he used to say, "Oh, come on, Jeff." I would bounce these crazy ideas, and if you followed me for more than a couple of minutes, you know that. I get a lot of crazy ideas. Some of them pan out. But he'd say, I'd say something stupid. And he'd say, "Oh, come on, Jeff." But he was over 80, and he got diagnosed with a form of cancer, as I recall. It's been years ago now. But he goes to the doctor, and he goes, "Look," he says, "I just got to tell you, so we're all on the same page here." He says, "I still have some things I want to accomplish in life. So if there's any kind of experimental treatments, anything I should know about opportunities to extend my life, I'd like to know about them." Well, the good news is I'm not quite 80 yet. That's quite a ways off in my mind. But it tells you how excited I am, and he was, about life and about paying it forward. Okay, I would suggest that's part of the motive when you get on the back 9, so to speak, that we're looking at ways to pay it forward. How can we invest this knowledge that we've accumulated and plant it or invest it in the next generation? That's a thing. So somehow I got off on that tangent this morning, but food for thought. Hey, I want to share a PDF with you, so look for a link in the show notes, some description on how to get it. A number of years ago, I created a magazine, an international business magazine. I attempted to start it out as a U.S.-based magazine, kind of modeled loosely, very loosely. And again, this was back in, what year was it? It was 2000, the year 2000, wow. The magazine was called TOC Review. It was all about the theory of constraints, the late Dr. Ellie Goldrat's work. I like to say that it's a law today. It's a law that every business is constrained by but one weakest link. So I shared with a colleague, I was sharing some things, and I extracted the PDF from the premiere issue of the magazine, which would have been March of the year 2001. It took us 95 days. I had the idea. 95 days later, the magazine existed. How cool is that? And I tell some of that story in this article called The Birth of a Vision. So I want to give you this 3-page PDF. It's 2 pages about the birth of the vision, and it comes from a print magazine. So with all PDFs, I load them, all PDFs of any value, I load them into iBook, which has been, for some reason, renamed just Book. Okay, it's a great formatter for PDFs. But so 2 pages is my story of the birth of the magazine TOC Review and me reaching out to Goldrat. And also I included a 1-page book review I did of the book Under the Radar. It's about Red Hat software and how I mentioned in the article using the open source model to help advance my ability to launch not only my company at that time, eDivision.net, but also the magazine. Anyhow, so I think it's interesting reading, and it's an example, a case study, if you will, of the application of Goldrat's theory of constraints before I actually became a Jonah. Once you get good at it and you get, quote, certified in the logical thinking process, you become what's known as a Jonah. It's like a lean sensei or Six Sigma black belt. In the world of constraints, we call it a Jonah. And then if you go on in those studies and you can actually create other Jonahs, you become what's called a Jonah's Jonah, the ability to train and certify others as Jonah, which I've done as well. But hey, I said all that to say it's a great, interesting article, and if I can help advance your efforts, you have to reach out. You have not because you ask not.